This is video number 5 for cello players. And in this video, we're going to learn to play number 2 through 5 in your Essential Elements book. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to get your cello out of the case, take the in pin out to the correct height, test it, get your music stand up, and have your book on your stand open to page number 4, and your rock stop on the floor in front. Now, what you want to do with your rock stop, you want to have the rock stop sitting. See how my music stand is facing straight forward? We want the legs of the music stand to be like a Y, and so the rock stop can go right there. Now, how do we adjust that? If I loosen either one of these bars, it can spin, okay? So spin it to where this is flat. You've got a Y, you can put your rock stop right there, and you're going to be able to see your music as well. So get those things set up, in pin out, instrument ready to go, music on the stand, rock stop just at the base of your music stand, and then join me again. So right in front, just like that. I am actually going to move this to the side because I want you to be able to see me playing, and that music stand is going to be in the way of that. You need to keep your music stand right directly in front of you so that you can see your music, okay? So, test yourself. If you didn't already, test your in-pin height. Make sure you've got it out correct between your nose and your eyebrows. And you're standing up tall, your cello standing up tall. Now, your feet have gone in front of the legs of the chair. Take a baby step out. You make a triangle with your in pin and your toes. Straight arm, sit on the edge of your chair, lean back. Okay, if you need to pause the video to get yourself set up properly, please do so. Before we play 2 through 5, we are going to do a little bit of echoing, just to remind ourselves which is the D, which is the A. Those are the only 2 strings we're playing on. So, with your right hand, make your L, thumb, and index finger. Your thumb goes halfway between the end of the neck and the end of the fingerboard. So right here, reach that first finger out. And we're going to start on the D string this time. Remember, the D string is right next to the skinny one. The A string is the skinny one. The D string is next to it. Put your finger between the D and the A and then pull towards your hand. Echo me 4 times on D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. D, 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 D. Now for A's. And go A, 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 A. 2 D's, 2 A's. Go. D, D, A, A. Reverse. A, D, D. Go. A, D, D. Okay, now I want you to look in your book at number 2, and if you skipped the previous video where we learned all of the little the stuff in the shaded box, you need to go back and do that video, please, because I'll be using some terms that you might not recognize. So I want you to look at number 2. I'm going to come in close here so that you can see. Number 2, we have the music staff, of course. We have 4 measures. We have a whole bunch of quarter notes and some quarter rest. So this is what tells us when to play which note. I want you to look at this quarter note. Do you see inside it has the little letter D? That's going to go away, so you need to start identifying D, not by the fact that it has a D inside it, but by the fact that it's on the middle line. And we'll have a future video that talks more about note reading, where we'll get really good at reading our notes. However, for now, if you need to use that, great, but hopefully within a couple of days you recognize D is on the middle line. So what I have here is a quarter note, 3 quarter note Ds, and then a rest. So all you're going to do is you're going to play 3 quarter note Ds and then rest. And then immediately onto this measure, 3 quarter note Ds and then rest. And then 4 and then 3 and then rest. Okay, so let me show you. You're going to go pluck, D, 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 rest. D, 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 rest, plucking here. D, 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 rest. Remember, very important that we stay with the metronome because there's no such thing as the right note at the wrong time. It doesn't exist in music. So when you see this one down here, we're going to do A. A lives on the top line. Memorize those two right now. D is middle line, A is top line. You memorize it little by little, it'll be easy for you. You try to memorize it all at once, it's going to be difficult. This is open A. So when we get to here, we're going to be plucking the open A's 3 times and then resting with the metronome. 3 times and then resting. When we get down to this one, some of them are D's, some of them are A's. So you'll pluck D 3 times and rest. You'll pluck A 3 times and rest. Then D 2 times, D, A 2 times, then D, D, D. Okay? When we get to that same thing, it mixes them all up in there. So let's try that now. Hopefully you're still in your good playing position. It's going to take me a minute to get there. Okay, number 2. Your music stand is right in front of you right now. Number 2. And 1, 2, plucking D and go. D, 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 rest. D, 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 rest. D, 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 rest. Now, if you mess that up at all, I need you to pause the video at this point and redo it till you get it right. All right, we're going to move on so this video doesn't get too terribly long. Going on to number 3, and guess what? This is like the exact same thing as number 2. The only difference is now playing open A. Open meaning there are no fingers down. That's all that the word open means. You're not putting any fingers down. Number 3, A's. 1, 2, rest, and go. A, rest. 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 Now, if you're thinking right now, oh my gosh, this is so easy, this is getting boring, great, go ahead and move on. However, I would love for you to try it again and try to make sure you are exactly with the metronome. If things are easy for you, you probably need to raise your standards, meaning go for perfection. Right now, this is a little bit boring sounding. In the next video, you're going to learn how to use some different music to play along with other than a metronome that will still teach you to keep a steady beat. But it's not just as boring as a little click. It has some cool background music to it as well. Makes it more fun to practice. So we're going on to number 4. This changes. Some of them are D's, some of them are A's. Let's try that. Number 4. 1, 2, number 4, and go. D, 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 rest. A, rest. Now 2 D's, 2 A's, 3 D's. Rest. If you didn't mess up on the first 2, but you did on that one, completely normal. Again, pause the video, get it right, and then join us again for number 5. Now, those that haven't messed up yet, that's amazing, that's great, you're doing very, very well. Number 5 might trick you. So you might want to kind of look it over first. This one's different because it has 3 D's and then an A. There's no resting in there. Let's try now. Number 5. Oh, measure 2 is going to mess some of you up. I would love to be proven wrong and you play it perfectly. Concentrate. Make sure your eyeballs follow along in time to the music. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 5, go. D, 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 A, D, rest. A, rest. D, D, A, D, A, D. Now, if you mess that up, I'm going to suggest you do something else other than just play it over and over again. Practice just going back and forth between D and A. This is something that is a little bit tricky for some people and just figuring out that fine motor skill of exactly where you need to be. Because you're not able to look here, you need to be looking at your music. So it could be that that's why you messed up. Don't quite have the agility yet and the accuracy yet. So practice just going back and forth between D and A, just like this, until that's easy and you don't have to be looking at your hand to do that. And then try number 5 again. Before you do the next video, make sure that you can play number 2 through 5 because each song is going to get a little bit more difficult, and you need to be ready for that. If you can't do the easy ones, you won't be able to do the difficult ones. Again, remember, play exactly with the metronome, exactly in time. And I will see you in the next video.